Alright guys, so here we are with part of my wiring disaster. I haven't caught anything on fire or burned myself, so that's a good thing. So picking up where we left off, I've got everything at least mentally laid out. And there's a reason that I have this part of the deck up here. So we have this, which is our correct power supply, which is running 12 volt DC, which is to power the Madman lighting control and my other makeshift controller. So digging through some stuff last night, I found I had this, and sorry if I'm rehashing this, guys, because I know I posted a video just for Facebook earlier today. This is what's left of it, but this was for a lighting setup for fish tanks, and it had where you could plug 3 different ones into it, as you can see here. Well, I decided to hack it up, and I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this on off switch and mount it inside, or if I might use something like this, a little one. Have not determined that yet, but I kind of like the look and feel of this one. So the reason I decided to try and do this is, one, it makes my lighting system modular. That way the area that I have for, let's say, the decking, or if I need to take it off, paint it and everything, I can do that, put it back on, then the wiring just gets plugged right in, right back into it. Makes it easy peasy. And there's plenty of room in that one cargo bay that the side panel comes off of, because that won't end up being open for display anyway. So I can put all my electronics, my wiring and stuff in there. So what we'll do, we'll plug this into our power. This part here will be mounted into the base bracket, and then this part will be in the ship. So that way I just push it down on there. Not only that, but it'll add stability, because the ship actually rocks and doesn't sit real secure in that bracket. So now that we have this here with our makeshift, and I was showing you guys the lighting pattern. Don't panic that this is bare. This is the negative, and I have that bare for a reason, because I need to add at least 2 more for the 2 smaller guns. So all we have to do, plug that in, flip our switch, and there we go. So the way I plan on doing this, if you're familiar with the ship, it has the 2 big cannons, and then the smaller ones, then all the AA guns. So what we're going to have is we're going to have this one in there, that one in there, and so on down the ship. And then this one's going to be for the back one. So the back one will be firing the same time as this one. But it's going to, looking at it, it's going to throw it off balance, which is what I want. I don't want it to be all unison where the whole thing is just bleh, bleh, bleh. And then, so yeah, I need to add like I said, a couple more for the smaller guns, and then I'm still finagling to see if I can do something with the AA guns, because like I said, this thing is going to be going all out. So that's it for this section, and I will be back with hopefully some mounting of this stuff, and then starting the soldering and wiring. And a couple of people asked, just, you know, I'm a complete novice when it comes to the wiring and stuff, but a couple of people asked just to watch me do it. So you can watch me. You'll probably hear me under my breath, don't screw this up, don't screw this up, don't screw this up. So you guys can have a good laugh at that. All right, I'll be back. All right, for this section, well, I'm bringing you up all close. For the smaller turret, what I've done, wrong piece, is on this one, I've drilled out 5mm hole for the base of the turret. I've made a corresponding hole, so the LED, got a spare one here, we'll just slide up like so, and then that one will slide over. So this will actually become the light chamber inside. So what we're going to do is, as you can see here, this is the stock barrel. What I've done is I have drilled it out. This is the one I was showing you guys that I messed up. Well, I managed to fix it. What we've done is we've drilled out and replaced what was the barrel with a 1mm fiber optic cable. So what that's going to do, use our little dummy test light here. What that's going to do is produce that. So actually what I'm going to end up doing, I left this a little bit longer than it needed to be, and it's going to get painted over, primed. It's stiff enough that it's going to stay straight, and even if it does flex a little bit, can always just kind of bend it, but it won't bend enough to be noticeable. So what we'll do is we'll actually paint prime this just like normal. Once we're all done, we'll just file off the end and polish it, and we'll be done. So what I've done on this is, as you can see, this was solid. I drilled a hole and then just cut a wedge, and then this will pop in like so. Now the downside is these are stiff enough that you're not going to be able to randomly just position it in whatever. You'll be able to get it in a position, but now with this, what we're going to do is we're going to take a small piece of plow plate and glue over this hole. Then we're going to drill a small hole big enough to hold 3 of these millimeter cables, and then we'll feed that in there, and then we can trim it, and that part will be done. So what will end up happening is, instead of having light bleeding anywhere, all the light will be contained within this chamber, which will actually make these even brighter. And once I get that all set up, I will show you guys. Okay, so as you can see, we now have our hole drilled in here. I've slightly heated the optic cable. This is 1mm, by the way, so that it will slide in like that. And I do have to trim it down because it's longer than that. And there will be a little finagling. Plus I had to trim off the peg holes on the front. But that is essentially what it's going to look like. And again with our little dummy light. And you can see in there is a little bit of bleeding, but once it's primed and everything, that'll cover that all up. I'm really happy. So let me go over. By the way, I was joking with someone yesterday. I love how the Chinese, when they make stuff like this, you know, you take color coding. It's funny. It's like, okay, I have a bunch of red wire. Red negative, red positive. I noticed that yesterday when I was tearing apart some stuff for some its and bits and pieces of wire. It was just really odd. So on these, what I've done is I've trimmed off the very tip of the barrel, and I'm going to take this micro drill bit and I want to make sure that I have it as center as I can be. And as I go down, I will rotate, that way I can compensate and change my angle if I need to. And we will check our depth. I think just a little bit longer and I'll be good. And then we're going to work our way up to that size. And I think this is the other one. Using this one actually made it a little bit sloppy, so I'm going to try doing one that's tighter. So that should work. And I have a length of cable here, optic cable, and this actually came from an old optic cable for your TV. So we're going to carefully splice this. Without cutting ourselves, and without cutting the optic cable that's in the sheath. Alright, so there we have that. So we're going to test our size. And it's close, but it's really tight. So we'll just wallow that out a little bit. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to take our trimmers, cut off that piece, cut that off fairly close, take a file, And I think I might just go ahead with a little bit bigger and just glue it. Don't want to force it at all. You just want it to take the natural course of the pilot hole that's in there. There's that. Now, and normally I would just do 1 1 1 1 and then do the other thing, but since I'm doing this on film for you guys, I'm just doing one right now. All right. Kind of make sure that my hole's centered up. And that should do it. So this is really rewarding in the end, but it can be a tedious process. And you want to build up to the size that you want, especially on little parts like this. Otherwise, what will end up happening is it'll stretch and deform the plastic. Alright, so we have our exit hole in the back, where it should be. And next, just lightly let it go through. Don't force it, don't get impatient. So things end up getting screwed up. You have all the way through. So now you'll be able to feed that like that, like that. And I bent this piece before, so I'll just straighten it out. I'll straighten it out once it's glued. But there you go. There's another one done. Just have to glue it. Alright guys, and I think my next vid will be once I have all these all drilled out and prepped and I have some test lights in them. I will talk to you later. Peace out.